Okay, welcome back to the Florida Physique Report, and my guest again this week is John Puskarich, who is going to be giving us a little bit of a report on the Gateway Classic, the MPC Gateway Classic, which took place in Lake City, right, John?
Yes, sir. Lake City, Florida.
And John, you were not only reporting on the show, you were competing in the show.
I may have bit off more than I could chew on that.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, it was really fun because I actually got to see, backstage, we have our game face on and you're kind of doing your thing. So they really didn't know that I was doing the interviews or going to be reporting on it. So yeah, so I definitely got a unique perspective. It was a really good time, and I enjoyed myself. And I'm actually happy to be here on the show and kind of giving you a backstage perspective on a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, this will be unique. Well, I'm glad you're here again with us, and I appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
let's start off, John, talking about this Lake City Championship, because this was part of the Gateway Classic, but you had to live in Lake City in order to compete in that, right?
Yes. There were two classes, the bikini and the men's bodybuilding, and there were only one competitors in those divisions. A young man who actually won the men's bodybuilding, I spoke with him, nice guy, and I think it was his fourth show, Randy Roden, and he was also competing in middleweight. Had a nice full physique. Very solid, very symmetrical, posed well, very confident. I thought he could be a little bit leaner. I think he said it was his fourth show, and he has a lot of potential, that's for sure. He posed well, and like I said, he was the only competition in that show. So much props to him. Yes. And then in the bikini division,
Caitlin Bush?
Yes, Caitlin Bush. She actually, this might have been her first show. Young girl. Great structure. She definitely has a lot of potential. Very tight through the midsection, very tight through the hamstrings and glutes, which is very hard, especially for a young novice bikini competitor. But I was very, very impressed. And I know she did the open division, and I also have the results. I think she took runner-up in the open division, and we'll touch base on there. But I thought that she represented very well. And even if there were more than just her competing, she would have been in the running for the overall as well.
Okay. And then they also had a men's physique. Ryan Hall was in first and Jonathan Gaines second.
Oh, you're talking about the Lake City?
Yeah, the Lake City.
Okay, now that wasn't I didn't get a chance to see that division, so I didn't get to see that. Now you have the results there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see those two gentlemen. The only ones that I were able to see backstage when I was there was the physique and open, short, and tall.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go over to the Gateway Classic.
Yes.
This was a non-qualifying show.
Yes.
And we'll start with the figure division. In the Masters figure, they had a figure over 40.
Yes.
Jean Hill was the winner with Margaret Marks in second and Robin Watson in third.
That is correct. Yes. I got a chance to actually speak to the overall winner, Jean Hill, and it was her first show. She was 5'7". She hit the stage about 129 pounds. What I noticed about her backstage, she had great shape. She had this really nice energy she just projected. She was authentically a very sweet gal, and she had great stage presence, and her midsection was very defined. So with the stage presence, her smile, and just a total package, it was a pretty clear-cut shot that she had won the over 40. The other two gals, Margaret and Robin, they looked great, but they just weren't lean enough this weekend to top Jean Hill.
Okay. And then they had one competitor in the figure over 30, and that was Althea Endell.
Yes. She was 34 years old, and this was actually her fourth show. She competed in the open class as well. She looked great. She really looked like she enjoyed herself there. She wasn't too nervous backstage. But I think in the end, in the overall, she went against Gina for the Masters overall. And like I said, with Jean Hill's definition, stage presence, it was pretty clear cut to be the overall winner that day.
Okay, that was pretty good for Jean Hill then, being the over 40 and beating the over 30.
And real quickly about this show, it was held at the Alfonso Levy Performing Arts Center in Florida Gateway College, and it was a non-qualifier, so it was a smaller show. But props off to Tony Curtis, the promoter. There was a lot of people in the auditorium because typically the relative to the competitors in the show usually corresponds to the audience size.
Right.
And I was a little surprised. It looked like the audience was pretty full and a very, very supportive crowd, for the night show, which, as you know, you appreciate when the fans clap. So it was a good venue. I was very pleased with the venue of the show.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's go over to the open figure then. In the short class, Jessica Rodriguez was the winner by 1 point over Elise
Manico, I think.
I can't say
her and her
that.
husband was. I actually had to write it down. Don't even want that, John. I had to write it down so I could actually pronounce that. Yeah, they both look great. Elise, she had a great smile, and it was all there. She had the nice shoulders, small waist, nice symmetry, and the common denominator, I think, as we keep going through this show recap, is she just wasn't quite as lean as Jessica. Jessica Rodriguez, she ended up actually winning the overall as well. She had the cap shoulders, small structure through the waist, nice hips, and she looked very, very confident up on stage. So she was a great champion and great overall winner of that short class.
Yeah, I saw pictures of her. She looked very impressive.
She looked very, very good.
She could do really well.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she is competing again. Basically, just keep doing what she's doing, and just at the higher level, at the qualifying level, just might want to get a little tighter through the hams and glutes, and I think she'll do very well.
Yeah. Medium class only had one competitor, Erin Porter.
Yes. You know what? I saw her backstage. I had a nice face, nice smile. She actually had a great presence. Nice look, she got her hair, her skin color, and I got to mention Elisa. I want to give Elisa from Hot Spots. She's at every show that I'm on tour, so we run into each other all the time, and she really had the athletes all looking great. So I want to continuously say that everybody looked great on stage, and I know Elisa from Hot Spot is definitely the person taking care of all these people. But anyways, she looked great, but like I said, she just couldn't topple Jessica. In the figure. Erin Porter looked great. My only advice is, once again, just to be a little bit leaner as she continues on her journey.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Elise from Hot Spots, because she'll be at my show at the Natural Sun Coast.
She's at every show.
Yeah.
She's the only one that going to shows more than I do, just so you know.
Right. All right, then we go to the tall class, and Nicole Smith wins first place, straight first. And she beats out the over 40 Masters figure winner, Jean Hill.
Correct.
Althea Endel is in third place.
Yeah, it's interesting because, as I mentioned, the short winner, Jessica Rodriguez, ended up winning the overall. But Nicole Smith, she actually she's about 5'8.5", a little taller side. She competed at 132.6. It's only her third show. The notes that I got from her, she's very tall, she's very elegant. Had a nice midsection. And once again, it's interesting, whether it be bikini, bodyboarding, or figure, when you have those nice capped shoulders, it really enhances her V-taper. And I remember Nicole Smith, her shoulders and her midsection looked really great at the show. And, she battled out with Jessica Rodriguez. It could have gone either way, but I think Jessica had just a little bit more muscularity, and obviously in figure, that was the one that threw her over the top. But it was a great battle between Jessica and Nicole Smith for the figure overall.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you're right, John. It was close for the overall. I got the overall scores here. Should be Jessica got a final score of 7, and Nicole Smith got a final score of 8.
Yes. So yeah, it was that. And I think if they would have flip flopped, I don't think anybody in the audience would have cared, because it was that close.
Yeah. So that means out of 5 judges, 3 judges gave Jessica first place, and 2 judges gave Nicole first place. So that was very close. All right, let's go over to the bodybuilding, which was your division, John.
Okay. Over 50?
Yeah, let's do the Masters first. Men over 50, the first place winner was George Coziera over Richard Foster, who was in second.
That's great. Richard Foster, he had good muscle. He was a very competent poser, and the gentleman just had fun out there. He was actually battling out in the open class as well. But you know what? I was watching backstage, actually cheering him on. He went out there and he didn't let his age, deter him or feel inferior. He was having a lot of fun out there. That really stood out in my mind. The gentleman who won, Mr. Coziera, He was just leaner. He posed very hard, and his body just had a lot more shape than Mr. Foster's. So George definitely earned that win, and he was leaner, and I thought deservedly so to win the over 50 class.
Okay. And then we go to your class, John, the men over 40. We got 5 competitors.
Yes.
And Jason Varner was the winner over you. You
yes,
got second place.
It was a great class. In third place, a gentleman named Mike Perez. This guy, one of those guys where if he would lay down on his side, he'd be taller, and then he stood up. It was just one of those guys. Mike Perez in third was just a huge, wide guy. He walked through the door. I'm like, what the heck is that guy? Anyways, he looked great on stage. Like I said, you could fit 2 of me behind this guy. He had nice legs, nice midsection, a little soft through the hams and glutes, and I think that's what kind of put him in the third place position. Me taking second, this was my personal best. So regardless of my placement, because I had been on a roll, and I still am, but my conditioning was great. It was better than last week's show, and I posed fairly well. I was very, very pleased and still pleased with my performance. But my hat's off to Jason Varner. Very symmetrical, very confident. Very good upper back, nice arms and shoulders. Came down to a small waist and had good legs. It was all there, You could have kind of picked here or there, but my hat's off to him. He posed hard, and he got a good, hard-earned victory. So,
good.
Hats off.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on your second place, John, and congratulations on your personal best. That's always a very hard thing to achieve.
I got 2 more shows to dial in, but like I said, even if I would have took dead last, it was better than my show at the Panhandle. I'm very happy with that.
All right. Great attitude, John.
Thank you.
Then we had one more master's class, which is men over 35, and Frank Scianamenico, if I'm probably not saying that right. He was the only competitor, and he was obviously first place.
Yeah. Frank looked great. It's interesting, and as you know, as a master competitor, as you get older, I think the masters have, over the years have put on some good sized muscle. It's the conditioning aspect of it.
Yeah.
And the gentleman looked great. He had good muscle mass. Like I said, unfortunately, he was the only competitor up on stage. But nonetheless, he posed hard. He looked like he had fun out there, and and he worked hard for the overall. And if you don't have it on your card there, but Jason Varner, who actually ended up winning my class, ended up winning the overall masters as well, and deservedly so. He had the best balance between the over 50 and the over 35 winner.
Okay. All right, then we go to the men's open bodybuilding, and Frank Scianamenico, I'm saying it wrong, sorry, Frank, but he won the lightweight class. He was the only competitor in the lightweight class.
Yeah, what I remember about Frank, he had good symmetry, he posed very well, and he looked very confident on stage. He could have been a little drier, but regardless, he looked very good on stage.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the middleweights, Jason Varner, the overall Masters winner, was beaten out by Brian DeGaglia, who got first place.
In that class, Chris Cox ended up taking third. He was very big, nice, symmetrical. Could have been a little tighter through his hamstrings and glutes. Jason, we just spoke about him. He looked great, nice balanced physique. Brian, I actually competed with Brian in the overall at the Panhandle, and I spoke to Brian in the parking lot because obviously, we had just competed a couple weeks ago, and he came in. Brian, I think he correct me if I'm wrong, but he was like 163 at the Panhandle. He came in about 5 to 6 pounds heavier, and he asked what I thought, and I said, to be honest with you, he came in much fuller. His muscle separation was greater, and he had his trademark hardness. And when I saw him out there, I thought to myself, he was going to be very hard to beat, and I knew he was going to be in the overall. And Brian poses very, very hard. And with his added 5 pounds from 2 weeks ago, with his trademark leanness, he was the man to beat for sure.
Wow, that's interesting. So he was 5 to 6 pounds heavier, but he looked better because obviously he was too flat at the Panhandle then.
That's it. Yeah. Anyway, he filled out, and due to the filling out of the muscle, it actually had caused more separation.
Yeah.
So he really popped on stage, and I'm sure you saw some photos. He looked really, really good.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Okay.
Yes.
And then we go to the light heavyweight, John, and you take first place over Michael Perez.
No.
Oh, you did?
No. I actually now this was interesting. Okay, you know bodybuilding. Now I had beat Michael Perez in the over 40, so I was all ready to go. But yeah, as it turned out, I ended up taking second place.
Oh, you did? Okay, so this is wrong.
yeah. So it was flip flop. Michael, I don't know. Maybe I didn't pose as well in the second class. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I did, I'm going to be upset because I take posing seriously.
Right.
But my hats off to Mike. Like I said, he probably was the nicest guy in the whole show and the widest guy. And he looked very, very good. Huge upper body. Once he dials in his legs and glutes, and I think this was only his second show because whenever we got off stage, he was telling me his legs and whole body was shaking, and we were just cracking up together.
Yeah.
But I was very happy for him that he was able to go to the overall and represent the light heavyweight class. He looked great up there.
Okay. And then the heavyweights, they had 4 heavyweights. Chris
Yes.
Coupler wins first place over Corey Schroeder, Randy Roden in third, and Chad Adams in fourth.
Yes. Randy looked really good out there. Very big. All these guys were pretty large. The typical just needs to get leaner. And John, most of these times on the Florida Physique Report, whenever the commentators tell me about it, it's just you very rarely just get beat by someone who's just much bigger than you. It's usually the conditioning aspect. And sure enough, true to that statement at this show, as the people keep going up in placements, they were just leaner and more defined, and that's what happened to Randy. In second place, Corey Schroeder. He was same thing. He was just another big guy, a little bit leaner than Randy, and that's what I think was the difference between third and second. But both those guys just could not keep up with Chris Coupler. This guy may have the most massive thighs I've ever seen. I mean,
wow, really?
Yeah. If you get a chance to check out his photos, Chris Coupler, he was hard. He was balanced. His thighs were almost Tom Platz-esque. I mean, this really, you had to look at him and say, okay, are those real? So, yeah, and in the overall, all the guys look really, really good. But going back to my buddy in the middleweights, that was Brian DiGaglia.
Yeah.
His hardness, his comfort on stage, and it was I'm not sure if you had the scorecard there, but he was head and shoulders above, and he was a well-deserved middleweight overall victory.
Yeah, it looks like from the scorecard I'm seeing for the overall, it was a 1-point victory. Brian got, again, 3 first-place votes, and Chris got 2 first-place votes. So out of the 5 judges, they came really close to splitting the score.
Yes.
Okay. So Brian DeGaglia wins the overall. And was this Brian's first show, or has he been competing for a while?
No, I think he's been competing for a while. I don't quote me, but I'm almost sure he's done a few years. I mean, he's still a novice type competitor. Mm-hmm. But I think I ran into him last year as well. But just seeing him over this year progress, if he can keep his hardness and just fill out a little bit more, he's definitely going to do some damage in the middleweight class for sure.
All right, let's go over to the very popular men's physique. They had a short class and a tall class. And short class, who won first place, Johnny? Because it looks to me like it's a tie.
Ryan Hall was the first place.
Okay.
Second place was Jonathan Gaines, and third went to Rolando Saldivar.
Okay.
The thing that really stuck out about Ryan Hall, and we may have mentioned this before, these physique guys, I mean, they are just really big. And I thought Ryan looked like a bodybuilder out there. He was thick, deep abs, very confident, and he was a solid poser. So when he came out on stage, he just had this swag about him. He's very confident, and he had the body to back it up. So it was an overwhelming first place for him, and very deservedly first place. And he also went on to win the overall as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the physique tall, the placements went like this. In third place was Brian Corridor. Mm-hmm. Second to Larry Pugh. And first was Robert Lewis. I remember I spoke with Robert outside. Very tall. He has great shoulders, and he had very pronounced abs. And very fluid poser, and also he had a great smile. And I think, in bodybuilding, you want to look pleasant, but I think it's extremely important, especially in male physique and bikini, that when you're out there, you're projecting like a model look.
Yeah.
And Robert Lewis just had a really nice smile. And I think, all things being equal, those might be the little things, whether it's the hair, the smile, mm-hmm. the color, tan. I think in a close competition for male physique, those are the color of the shorts. Those are the things that have to be considered.
Yeah. When I was talking to Mike Matassa last week about the Galaxy, we were talking about that, about how important your stage presence is for men's physique and bikini, because if you think about it, they're not posing, and they only stand to the front and to the back. So
Yes.
you really have to project in that little bit of time you're out there, because you can't really do anything else,
I'm going to say this. If you told me to stand in shorts and I couldn't move my body and to present who I am, just by standing there with my hands on my shoulders, I'd have to scratch my head.
Yeah.
My hat's off to those guys because, like you said, you have a short amount of time. You're standing there, face front, face rear, face to rear, and show me who you are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to do a lot in a little bit of time,
Yes. But they're getting it done.
Yeah. The overall then went to Ryan Hall, like you said, right?
Yeah. Robert Lewis, the tall winner, like I said, he had great stage presence, had a great smile. But at the end of the day, Ryan Hall, like I said, he just had the muscularity, and he just knew he looked good up there, and he just dominated that stage. And it was a well-deserved overall for Ryan.
Okay. All right, let's go over to the Bikini Open then. Always usually the biggest division of the night, and it looks like it was the biggest division of this night. We had about 6 girls in the short class, and Sarah Wu was first place with Caitlin Bush in second and Lisa Green in third.
Yes. Let me just briefly talk about them. In third place, like you mentioned, Lisa Green, she had very nice shape, and she just needed to be a little bit leaner all over. The structure, the symmetry was there. She posed well. She looked like she was having fun up there. But the gals in front, and Caitlin Bush, if I remember correctly, she was a young lady I mentioned at the earlier part of the show. Just a real nice, the word chassis. I mean, her shoulders, her scapula, her hips, it just all flowed well. And she was really, really tight. Nice shape, and her color was great. Now, Sarah Wu, the one who took first place, she was also the overall winner as well. I got a chance to talk to her. It was her first show. It was
Really?
Yeah. It was her first show. She got on stage about 5'3¼ and she weighed 112 pounds. She had great stage presence, great smile, and probably the thing that really stood out about her, in my eyes, that word balance. She just had great balance. Sometimes people are dominant through their shoulders, but maybe lack in their lower body. The one thing that, in my opinion, that helped Sarah in her first show win the overall open bikini, she just had really nice balance, and I think she said she's getting ready for the Europa show next.
Okay, this weekend.
Yeah. Yep. She's getting ready for the Europa show.
Okay. And then in the tall class, Jen Messer was first place with Lindsay Howard second, Christy Kenshin in third, and Marcy O'Donnell in fourth.
Yes. Great class. In my opinion, anywhere between fourth, third, and second could have been intertwined. They all look great. They all had their strength. Taking the podium on third was Christy Kenshin. My notes were she had a nice feminine shape and she posed very well. Those are the things that stood out for her. Second place, Lindsay Howard. Nice arms and shoulders, nice smile, and she looked very, very comfortable up there. And it's interesting because in Lake City, being a non-qualified, there was a lot of first-timers. And I'll be honest with you, John, when you have first-timers winning overall in the open class, that goes a long way to saying that these people are doing their homework.
Yeah.
Okay, they're just not coming out and waking up. Maybe I'll do a show today. I mean, these guys are doing their homework.
Right.
And I was really surprised when I found out that a lot of these girls who won in the open division, it was their first show. So whether hats off to, I'm sure they probably working with some coaches in their own time. But the game is definitely, the ante has definitely been upped in 2015. Let me see. I mentioned Jenna Messer. What I got from her, she was extremely confident on stage. She had a great presence. She looked very, very comfortable, and she just, she hit her poses like she was supposed to. Flawless, no hiccups, no tripping, no stumbles, and and I think that's why she took first. And as far as the overall, I saw the overall, and they both were great. They both had, Sarah was obviously a little shorter, tall. Jenna, the winner from the tall class, a little more elegant and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the judges thought that Sarah was the overall winner for her first show. So congratulations to all the gals, in those divisions and all the winners, actually.
Yeah. It looks like it was close between that bikini overall. It was 1 point difference.
Yes.
Okay. All right, John. Well, thank you very much for that report. Overall, this show was pretty good, even for a sort of a smaller show, non-qualifier, but it was some good quality competitors.
Well, and in closing, I would like to say to, Tony Coders, the staff, Mr. Pete Bancher was the head judge. It was a really family-oriented show. I know Mr. Curtis had his family there helping out, and And what I liked about the show, I would recommend if you guys were watching the show and if you want to get into an NPC show and you're not going to have 200-300 athletes running around and it was a very family friendly show. The venue was beautiful. They had a lot of vendors out there and it was just right off the highway. I would highly recommend a lot of first timers, and as mentioned in the report, there was a lot of first timers there. So I really enjoyed myself. So now I just got to sharpen the axe here and get ready for the 16th, and I'm coming down your way.
I know, John. We can't wait to see you on the 30th.
I'm
We're
excited.
only like 4.5 weeks off now.
I know, you might have to see my little mining up a wall. Did you see my video? I have something special just for you.
All right, I can't wait. All right, Big John. Well, thank you again for your report, and we look forward to seeing you on stage at the Riptide in 2 more weeks, and
Yes,
then
sir.
we'll look forward to seeing you out here in Tampa on the 30th in about 4 more weeks. So thanks again, John. That was really great that you were able to do a contest report and compete at the same time. I think that's a first timer for any. I think that's ever been done before.
Thanks, John. Have a nice evening.
All right, you too, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.